on-demand reading of Daniel Guyton's play, The Mother of God Visits Hell. Excuse me, not goes to hell. Visits Hell. It's pretty intriguing, and I think you're in for a real treat tonight. Jill is off being a little sick, so I'm here to take her place, although I can never replace her. I'd like to invite you to the next on-demand reading, which is by Kurt Shannon, who's sitting right back here. It's High Noon at Shady Acres, a crazy, interesting, intriguing play. Are there other things happening here, Robert, that you want to introduce?
A couple of people have asked me if I'm still looking for scripts for the holidays, and the answer is I have not shut that door yet. So if you've written something sassy and fabulous and unconventional about the winter holidays, and it's between 5 and 20 minutes long, send it my way.
No performances, though?
Just a month of Lovecraft and all that good stuff.
Okay, all right. There is no intermission. Afterwards, we will have a talk back, and we usually, we always use the critical response method. It's 4 levels of things, and I'll be leading that. Daniel will be on stage with us, and we would really like your feedback, because Daniel gets the opportunity to hear how the play goes for the audience. I will introduce all of the actors who have been gems to work with, by the way, after the show. So, without further ado, Daniel Guyton's The Mother of God Visits Hell.
Yeah.
The Mother of God Visits Hell by Daniel Guyton. Dramatis personae. God, all-knowing, the Creator. Mary, his mother. Michael, archangel, highest of the seraphim. Satan, the devil. Uriel, the angel of song. Gabriel, archangel, a messenger. AZRAEL, the angel of hell, a gatekeeper. ABADDON, a demon. MOLOCH, a demon. Cobbler, a shoemaker. Margaret, his wife. Smithy, a blacksmith. Murderer, a killer. Various souls in torment. Scene 1, God's design. God enters, followed by his mother.
I must forbid it, mother, 'tis rash.
'Tis rash to salve the wounds that we inflict.
No, 'tis rash to salvage wounds which worms inflict. What weight we have with worms, with water bugs, with mopping yellow maggots in decay. Nay, I say we stay up here in heaven, whilst they betray the flesh of sinful men. Thou, I, and seraphim shall play the harps divine, whilst vermin, scum and scavengers beneath the earth shall die. I say again.
No need, I heard ye fine the other time. Thou bade me not to go, so I will stay.
Yea, and haunt me with eternity with guilt.
Well, I am a Jewish mother. Yea.
No, remain. Please, I wish to speak with thee. Thou comest here with wringing hands and blurting nervously about a journey I must needs abhor. Were't thy request a little less unorthodox, it would be done, thou canst be sure.
Aye, certainly it would. And if I've inadvertently somehow just offended thee, it wasn't by intent. Thou art my father, and my soul divine. I am to follow closely thy design.
What twist is this? Why call you me and thy father? Of course I am thy son.
Aye, 'tis true enough. On earth thou wert my child. I raised thee from a nursing babe to one all men admired. But ye conceived of me full 15 years, for I e'er touched my womb to feel thee kick. Thus thou art my father, and this be not a trick.
Ah, thou vexeth me. I long to see thee smile. Come, stand next to me. We'll gaze upon the earth a while. For millennia I've reigned, as God above the men, with naught but cherubs to amuse me, unsatisfied and full of pride, incapable of pity. I cursed and blessed fools who durst refuse bend the knees before me, and when I condescended to be man, 'twas in a blaze of fury. For how could I have known the agony and groans of life in my creation. I knew the beauty only of my own design, but not the arrogance and gumption of my celestial presumption, that man was but a servant in my mind. 'Tis true the old adage of power and corruption, yet near would I believe it of myself. 'Twas thee who rescued me and all of man. Thy motherly affections, thy soft and tender hand, which taught me love above all other acts of mine. To err is human, forgiveness is divine. Judge not, lest ye be judged. All these passages were thine. I felt such strong compassion when I cradled in thy arms. I could no longer punish as I once bethought I should. I came to earth in anger, but 'twas thee who gave me strength. Thus thou art my mother and holiest of saints.
Thy words bring rivers to my eyes. Please forgive my imposition. I'll not ask thee any more.
Nay, but ask me more, for anything thou wishest, save for one.
I've all a soul could ask for in thy grace. My throne upon the mantle made of gold, I dream in shiny sparkles and swim in silver lakes upon the surface of the clouds. My want is not for riches, nor for my own desires, but to witness those who suffer in the sepulchre of fire, to offer them compassion though they err. I wish this not for me, but for all humanity, for those who have to wallow in the mire. True, all men have sinned and so deserve to perish, but worms can only swallow them if thee they do not cherish. I know my tongue is bothersome, so please forgive me for my rants, but if thou hast affection yet, so give my wish a second chance.
And what about temptation? How wouldst thou resist? The devil has a honey voice, yet venom on his lips. He's known for his vexation of the holiest of wits.
I, Lucifer's a troubled soul, and failed in veneration. But I was born an empty palate with no sinful inclinations. And though his words be full of lies and powerful libations, I'll not drink a drop of them to keep me from salvation. I'll be well.
Alone in hell. And what if he attacks?
Send an angel, my protector, a worthy bodyguard. Michael.
I do not like this plan.
Michael's as capable as any.
Aye, and more, the hardiest of angels, and surely he would place himself twixt thee and any harm, but danger lurks at every turn. The flames of hell are warm.
I'll bring a fan.
No need. The head is cool, and Michael's sword is stronger than 1,000 middling fools in all of Satan's army. Still, something could go wrong.
Thou art omnipotent.
Aye, in my dominion. But little say have I inside his walls. And if any harm befalls thee, it should start a war, wherewith all the guards of heaven shall with swords come swarming down. Cherubim shall arrows fling through his minions scalded hearts. Seraphim shall cease to sing.
Enough! I'll not depart.
If this be thy desire, thou should go.
I desire friendliness and love. Peace betwixt the hell beneath and heaven up above. My want is not for massacres nor war, but to be ambassador twixt thee and purgatory. But if thou methink'st it's treacherous, I will not move an inch. I'll stay within these golden gates and linger in thy glory.
I implore thee. Michael!
My lord!
Guide my mother safely through the darkened underworld. She longs to see the suffering of souls.
'Tis dangerous.
I know.
Come, take my hand.
My son, I cherish thee.
Exit Mary and Michael. God stares at earth.
At times like these, I envy man. For who have I to pray to?
Lights out. End of scene. Scene 2, the underworld. Michael and Mary enter Satan's Satan bows.
My lady, vouchsafe keep thy distance.
What, and harm the Holy Virgin? I'd sooner sell my soul.
To whom?
Myself, of course.
Well, I pray thee gets a bargain, for a soul as venerable as thine, 'twould be a shame to cheat thyself. Don't go below a dime.
Dost find me so expensive? I concur. In truth, I would have bartered for some frankincense and myrrh.
Michael unsheathes his sword.
But hold that sword! I do abate. Methinks he overcompensates. Please proceed, I mean no harm. 'Tis just a spot of jest. Why comest thou so duly armed into my address?
'Tis for her protection.
Aye, my lady is a noble queen, the worthiest of souls. Why thinkest thou my meager purse could ever buy such gold?
I don't, but now I know thee as a fiend who will stop at nothing.
Well, let's not walk on eggshells. Lest we be dishonest, tell me how thou truly feels, and fie on being modest.
Disgust me.
Ooh, how miserable, how positively grand. And twere I not invincible, I'd still be shaking in my hand.
He waves his hand in Michael's face. Michael grabs and twists it.
Ooh.
Thy shoulders may be hewed, thy neck is weak and breakable, thy innards may be strong.
Michael!
Michael releases him and bows to Mary.
My apologies, dear devil, for the angel means no harm. He is but exhibiting the virtue of his arm.
Aye, such virtue. Me wished he'd had less merit. Yet were half my arm as virtuous, I would gladly share it. But verily thou comest to me with purpose, so let's air it out. Pleaseth thee to tell me, now preferably in earnest, how comes thee about this pilgrimage into my humble furnace?
I wish to be a witness to the sufferings of man.
A witness, huh? That sounds perverse. Who am I to judge? I will guide thee in, my queen, though thy servant may not budge.
Thou cur!
Thou fish! I decide who comes and goes inside this foul abyss, and Madonna, in her holy quest to see the damned exist, may come and go. Thou, instead, art burdened with a too ill-tempered head, and so thou shalt be girdled in with the shackles of the dead.
Michael's arms clamp to his side. He can only move his neck.
What ho! I'm stuck!
Indeed. Oh no, that is such bad luck. Lady, shall we go?
Oh, pardon me, release him. His place is up in heaven. He's only here because Jehovah does not deign to let him.
The more misfortune he. But I promise he'll be fine. The instant we return from hell, the chains will disentwine.
Dost swear it?
On thy soul.
My lady, no!
I'll be fine. Please, keep thy wits about thee, Michael. I will return in time.
But father doesn't know.
It is for him that I must go.
She wipes a tear from her eye and exits. Satan follows.
Then, good luck be with thee, lady, since I cannot be so.
End of scene. Scene 3. Uriel's lament. God seated, staring at a lily.
Uriel,
My lord?
play a song for me.
Of course. Uplifting or morose?
You choose. A bit of both. I am melancholy and I cannot decide.
I know just the song.
She removes a harp from thin air.
With all the others worry, my heart stands divine. Though their gaze be often blurry, I see heaven shine. For God's love is strong and steady, and I feel sublime. I know that this is what you would love to hear just now.
No. Sing something, not about myself. I'm not the egotist today.
Of course, my lord. How about a requiem?
Aye, for mothers who departed.
Softly didst thou waver when I sat upon thy knee. Thy breath I often savored when sang a song to me. My ears they craved such favors from thy consanity. When in misdirection I misspoke of thee, 'tis not a recollection that I am proud to keep, but my youthful indiscretions became most painful memories. Softly through the valley and to the land below, I saw my mother sally forth and heard the whistle blow. Oh, mother, won't thy daily, why must ye quickly go? So many words unspoken, so many songs unheard, my mother's love unbroken, her body though interred, and though my eyes are open wide, my vision's growing blurred. Still softly in the moonlight and in the summer night, I feel thy arms around me, love, singing lullabies. My mother's now the loveliest soul in paradise.
The harp fades.
Dost thou approve, my lord?
Yes, 'tis fine. A beautiful lament. How didst thou conceive of such a powerful event? Thou hast no mother to bereave, no indiscretions to repent.
Well, I seest I through human eyes whenever I descend to watch them weeping. I believe that human souls are complex and intriguing, whereas angels grow stoic and souls incapable of grieving. 'Tis not so of those who live below the tent of non-believing. For if they knew the treasures held in heaven for retrieving, they would scarcely shed a tear for such monumental leaving. Yet still it's marvelous for song.
I do agree, and thank thee for the entertainment. Now run along peacefully, whilst I remain in melancholic lament.
Of course, my lord. If I can be of any service, simply call.
Exit URIEL.
Ah, Uriel, thy song has much afflicted me. Though thou wilt never know it, thou art ignorant of feeling, thou music may bestow. Oh, why did I create the sigh and miserable emotions when I, bestride the cosmic tide, could then deny such foolish notion? My angels have no fear inside, nor catch the sad disease, yet I, and my almighty pride, still feel ill at ease. My mother lies beneath the earth and underneath the seas. No word have I for 40 nights, no whispers on the breeze. Yet surely Michael would return, unless perforce she has been seized. Gabriel!
My liege.
Get thee forth to AZRAEL to see if he hath news. My mother lies beneath in hell to comfort the abused. Thy brother is protecting her, but still he doth refuse to bring her home. With every moment that expires, I grow tired and alone.
I go, but know with certainty that Michael will not fail thee. With my brother watching over her, she is immune to frailty.
Go! There is no time for prattle. If a wing be harmed on Michael's back, it will be time for battle. The same with my dear lady.
Gabriel runs out.
Thy confidence is lovely, sure, but could it stand a war with all of Hades? Oh, Gabriel, my lad, I'm sorry that for thy chiding. But thou swift, my harbinger, and bring back happy tidings. I'll be glad.
God exits. End of scene. Scene 4, the souls in torment. Satan guides Mary through the depths of hell. There is a pit fire in stage. Numerous souls reach out of it for her.
Welcome, Highness, to my lair. Behold the rotting atmosphere. Gaze upon the wretched likes of men deceived and thieves alike. Watch your step, but look around. Delight in squalid sights and sound. Enjoy the stench of kings and clowns, slow roasted to a golden brown. Whilst here beneath his hallowed brow, they curse their God who cast them down. I cannot blame them after all, 'twas he who caused my hefty fall. Yet still in all I must recall, he left me power to enthrall. So now men cower one and all, as flames devour them withal.
Satan raises his arms and the flames rise high.
Oh, please tell me quick. There are many faults, the grievous deeds and bold assaults that brought them deep within these vaults, for surely most egregious be to warrant them such agony.
I shall recount them eagerly. Where should I begin?
What of these two men?
Well, he was but a burglar, and he a politician. But both of those are the same. I give, so no need for division. Over here was an attorney, and she a prostitute. Either one would cost a ton, and you'd still end up getting screwed. Up next to my collection is a man who sought the truth. He was once a rabbi and a magi of the Jews.
And his sin?
When asked to worship Jesus, he refused.
Oh, but that's a lie. They are the same. God and Jesus are each other. If a man worships one, he venerates the other.
Thou didst not let me finish. He slayed the man who bade him choose and ate his skin with spinach.
Oh.
That's a bit grotesque. A psychopathic Yiddish. Please continue wafting on the path. I have much more to show thee. Torturous maliciousness and gleeful acrimony.
But wait, who's he? The weeping soul near lost beyond my view.
Oh. He was once a cobbler who failed to mend a shoe, and every time he missed a nail, he blamed it all on you.
He was damned for that?
He was trying to damn you.
But still, it seems a hefty penance for fault at mending shoes.
Nay, his punishments for sputtering and blaspheming thy name. Were he a better shoemaker, his sin would be the same.
He spits on the cobbler.
He's filth.
Well, I see thou hast a tender heart, despite thy cruel facade.
Meanest thou, my gentle queen, thy observances are odd.
Thou spittest upon thy servant's head when the fire gets too hot. 'Tis as the balm of Gilead, or bread when fasting stops. 'Tis most compassionate.
Aye, that was my intent.
Yet here lies another soul who writhes in misery.
He was but a murderer who deserved no sympathy.
He spits on the murderer.
That was empathy.
This is false imprisonment! I was never meant to hurt her!
He claims that he was innocent, but so do all who perjure.
My lady, please! You must believe I never meant to hurt her!
I do!
The murderer reaches towards her. Mary reaches back. Satan shoves her to the ground.
Do not grab her arm!
He helps her to her feet.
You must be careful here, Madonna, lest they pull you in. And now for thee.
He thrusts his fingers in the air. A bolt of lightning sparks. The murderer cries out. Then disappears.
No, forgiveness, please! That's why I'm here inside this wretched place. I wish to shine forgiveness upon the human race.
But they're my slaves. Doth thou wish to steal them from me?
Aye, and give them heaven's grace.
Despicable. The souls which rot within this place, they curse the name of God above, and murder, loot, and rape. They don't deserve the services of heaven's golden gates. If I cannot be by God's side, then why in hell should they?
Thou mayest, if thou chooseth. I will plead for thee. Grant me but a simple wish, and let these souls be free.
Never. They mean too much to me.
Wouldst thou remain in Hades for a full eternity because of greed?
Yea. I need control of something, though it be misery.
Well then, I offer thee a bargain. take my soul for theirs.
My lady has a way with jargon to catch me unaware.
Dost not approve?
I do, and very much agree. But if God above should show his love, he would come down for thee.
Aye, and then you get to see him.
Do so willingly. Does trade for every soul?
Every little one.
Couldn't I keep 3?
Dost toy with me for fun? I will not trade with thee.
It shall be done, whatever thou demandest. The Lord above, the maid of God, shall give me the upper hand. Dist. And so come, my vesture prince, and will barter for their souls. My contract there awaits thy hand, so this whole may never be set undone.
Aye. And though my steps shall forward guide me unto oblivion, I come.
Mary exits.
Oh, I thank thee, Lord Jehovah, for this thou hast begun.
He exits gleefully. After a moment, the flames die down and the souls begin emerging from the pit, unscathed. They look around and wonder. Lights out. End of scene. Scene 5. ABADDON and MOLOCH. Michael is bound as before. The souls walk by him.
Halt! Stay! Thy souls belong the other way and not in that direction. Halt, I say! You must obey my voice in this objection. Heaven's glare is not prepared to grant thee resurrection. You are deaf. You wretched beast, you are deceased. You may not leave this section.
They exit.
They left. Vanished from hell. What shift is this which sets adrift the thieves from where they dwell? The trespassers and fiends of which forgiveness did expel? If only I could lift the bonds of Satan's evil spell, I would return to them. Oh! What mischief cooked this devil up to make my mistress do it? Oh, would that I were by his side to run the devil through it!
ABADDON and MOLOCH enter. One tall, the other squat.
Arr, dost thou believe I set him free?
Aye, for the Mother Virgin.
But how are we to torment she was sinless of expressions?
Oh, don't be so naive. He may perceive in questioning a torrent of perversions. On her back a bit of whipping, on her face a bit of smack. And when her flesh starts ripping, even Mother Mary will admit her soul in black.
Filth! You denigrated scum! How dare you spare a word against the Blessed Virgin Mom? Your lips are stripped of verity. Your tongues are dipped in plaque. Your words invert sincerity, and they lay the wounded truth upon its back.
Oh, blime, it's I! Can't surely be the captain of the fairies.
Aye. 'Tis I, by God's design. Thou shalt be very wary.
Michael, Archangel number 1, he who cast my lord and me from 'neath the shining sun. Though indeed canst thou believe such extraordinary fun?
Darn! Stand further, ABADDON!
No, lookest now, thou stupid cow. His girdle's made of lead. It seems our friend is trapped somehow by circles of the dead.
Nay, comest thou but closer, and I will rip off thee head.
With what? Thy teeth? Thou fillest me with dread.
He slaps Michael across the face.
Oh, he bled!
Coming forward cautiously.
Today!
Yea, but hit him, gentle Moloch. Do not be alarmed. His arms are fettered by his sides. He can't do thee any harm.
MOLOCH punches Michael in the stomach and screams out.
Well, don't hit him in the arm. I'll punch his face.
I think I'm done with Bunsen by the grace.
If I could reach my sword, you'd both be dead in haste.
Oh, let me help you there.
He takes Michael's sword.
Why, it's not much heavier than air.
He stabs Michael through the ribs. Michael grunts, but does not cry out.
Fair. Care to try it out?
I'm scared. What if he gets loose?
ABADDON stabs him through the ribs again. Michael groans louder, but does not cry out. He falls to his knees.
Then we'll bleed him for his juice.
And how about thy single Lord? Dost think he would approve?
What's this?
I am bound by sacred vow to serve thy holy Virgin. If thou befoulst my limbs or bowels, it will allow the scourge in. For God above shall feel my death and fly to hell with urges. How thinkest thou that Satan shall reward his top insurgents? With torture or with love?
Oh, we'll let thee live, for now, till he the order give. But torture is, till then allowed for thee, our most angelic thiv.
ABADDON stabs him again. Lights out. Scene 6, the Book of AZRAEL. AZRAEL stands at a podium with a giant book. Gabriel enters.
My noble AZRAEL. I come for news from God above. I am Gabriel.
I know who thou art.
He returns to reading.
Of course. Hast thou a report?
Of what?
Of thy father's mother.
The Virgin Queen.
Aye, she.
Let me see. The Virgin Queen, the Virgin... Ah, yes, here she be. What wisheth thee to know?
Is she well? Is she beneath? How goes her trip to hell?
She is beneath. She is not well. It seems she hath bequeathed herself to him who reigns in hell.
She hath bequeathed?
Aye. And in exchange, he hath released...
He flips through the book.
Everybody else.
Every other soul!
Aye. I wonder why they all came by, not knowing where to go.
You didn't try to stop them?
They weren't on my list.
He shows Gabriel the book, which has only one name on it, the Virgin Queen.
Can such incompetence exist? My brother, where is he?
Bound behind those kindled doors, his limbs will not be free.
Gabriel runs to the doors.
Oh, rattle all you like, dear boy, they will not budge for thee.
Removing his sword.
On my life, I'll run thee through, unless you wield the key.
Only God may grant admission for an angel such as thee.
He returns to reading.
Then fly will I to heaven for permission from his liege. And when I return, these gates will burn with flames from heaven's siege. Beware.
Gabriel exits.
It makes no difference to me. I'm but a gatekeeper and not thy enemy. So there.
He resumes reading. Lights out. Scene 7, the cobbler's wife. Margaret cleans her kitchen. The cobbler enters.
Margaret.
Henry?
I'm alive.
Margaret drops her broom.
Oh, Henry!
She hugs him.
Where have you been all these years?
A dark and lonely place, Maggie.
Are you a ghost?
No, I'm not a ghost, Maggie. I'm alive.
Glory be! How did this happen?
The Virgin Mary gave me a second chance.
The Virgin Mary?
Aye.
The Virgin Mary?
Yes.
The one who was always a Carson?
No.
No, it's Bloody Mary. Bloody hell. Bloody effing Mary.
Yes, that's the one.
Was she lovely?
Beyond.
She hugs him again.
God, I miss you so much.
And I you.
She kisses him.
And that's the kiss I remember.
Oh, stop it, Henry. I'm an old woman now.
You're 47.
And a widow.
Not anymore, you're not.
I was.
Well, you're more beautiful today, Maggie, than I've ever seen you.
Well, you're not so bad yourself there, for a dead man.
How's Pam?
Oh, she's just as silly as her father, always getting into trouble. She'll be 8 years old on Tuesday. She was only a wee thing, you know, when you left her without a dog. Would you like to go see her?
Soon. I'm still getting used to seeing you.
Oh, you're always a softie.
Can I ask you a question, Maggie? Well, I've been away for a long time now, and I guess I just come out with it. Have you been faithful to me?
Mostly.
Oh!
Well, you've been dead for 6.5 years, Henry. What do you expect me to do? Go bowling?
No, I'm sure you had your motivation.
I was lonely, Henry. That was my only motivation. I was missing you something terrible all this time.
Aye. And I suppose he's in love with you, this man.
Aye. In his own way, I suppose he is.
And you? Are you in love with you?
Henry, taking his face in her hands.
In all my time on earth, I've never loved another man the way that I love you. My entire world collapsed the day you left me. But I'm so glad that you're back now, Henry, and I'll never be unfaithful to you again. I promise you.
They kiss.
Now let's go see your daughter.
Aye.
They cross to the other room when they hear yelling outside.
Glory be! What noise is that?
They look out the window. URIEL enters downstage and watches the same events they see.
Is it Seamus?
Aye.
And Jimmy Brannigan?
Aye. The halls of hell are empty and Maggie.
But he's a killer! They executed him last year for shooting school children! Why like this, Henry?
He's been given a second chance.
A loud scream from outside.
Ah! Oh, Seamus just stabbed Jimmy Brannigan in the stomach!
A gunshot from outside.
And Jimmy Brannigan has shot himself in the face! Oh, Henry!
She buries her face in his chest.
Oh, this is awful, Henry! This is awful!
Well, he'll come to Piers now to...
Several gunshots ring out through the courtyard. Cursing, yelling, panic in the streets. The cobbler's jaw drops as he protects his wife with his arms.
It's a bleeding war zone, this!
The gunshots and yelling grow louder. They inch back.
Bloody Mary!
Lights out. Scene 8. The will of God. God stares down at earth. URIEL enters.
My lord, the earth is in panic.
I can see.
Satanic masteries at work, I'll wager thee.
Aye, so it seems.
All the souls were damned in hell have somehow been released.
Most alarmingly.
So what are we to do?
Play a song for me.
My lord.
One of tragedy. My mother's gone. I let her be. The world is calamity. I don't know what to think of.
Think of me, and all mankind, and all thy progeny.
Oh, what is wrong with me? Before my birth on planet Earth were none as strong as me, but now my mirth is twined with hurt and woeful agony.
Perhaps it is thy mother. She is part of thee. Without her here, thy strength appears to wane considerably.
Aye, the Mother, Son, and the Holy Ghost, the Virgin Trinity. How I yearn for days of triple posts of masculinity. Yet much strength derives from her sweet sighs of magnanimity. And thus it seems ye may be right. My mother holds the key to save the fate of all mankind and our divinity. The entire world relies on upon her femininity. Where is Gabriel?
I'm here, my lord.
Cast up into hell.
Aye, the gates are barred against me, Lord.
What news from AZRAEL?
Thy mother has betrayed her soul to save the ones who fell. My brother is behind the gates in some bewitching spell. I tried to pry the gates astride, but no sway could I impel. I need the key.
Aye, so indeed. Uriel,
My liege.
gather thou the instruments to lead a holy siege.
Yes, Lord, as you please.
URIEL pulls her harp from thin air.
No, not the harp. I mean the sharpened swords of armory, the arrows of unbending bows of cherubs' archery. Go call on chariots and marching steeds to fly us martially to hell. Couldst thou bethink of harmony and singing whilst my mother lies in peril?
Why no, my lord? This harp's for summoning the forger of thy swords. The smithy only comes to me when hearkening these chords.
She plays 3 chords on the harp. Blacksmith enters.
Ah, yes, of course. My head is strange today.
My lord has summoned me.
Aye, sir, come this way. We have work to do.
URIEL looks curiously at God and exits, followed by the blacksmith.
Yes. Go to. Now then, Gabriel, my messenger, my harbinger of news, art thou prepared to turn a sword on all who would abuse me?
My lord,
My heart is burning with a fire most profusely. I bend my knees to beg thee, please, to send thy vengeance through me.
Good. Then go and rouse the seraphim, and rally all the others. Tonight we fly from paradise to rescue precious mothers.
Exit God.
I go.
Exit Gabriel. End of scene. Scene 9, the rise of Lucifer. Mary, bedraggled, chained to the wall or to the floor. Several souls have returned to the pit. Satan dances around her.
So how dost thou enjoy despair, my humble virgin fair?
He raises his hand.
No!
She cries out from excruciating pain below her stomach.
Since she rejected earthly pleasures, then the pain must hit thee there.
Mary nods toward the souls in the pit.
Promised you would free them.
Aye, and so I did. I sent them hints in my defense, but God refused to see them. They swam up to his pearly fence and pled to him for freedom, but deaf to all their deference, he let them fall as heathens. Since they were not beheld to hell and God would not see them, they soon returned to earth, as in the days of Eden. And there in their unfair birth they harbored hateful grievance. For why would God cast them aside as some unholy demons? They were once his pride. Why shouldn't he receive them?
I don't know.
Well, enraged by his estrangement, they began a new arrangement, murdering the souls on earth in terms of our payment.
Yes, and who was it engaged them?
I do confess. My maliciousness enraged them. I inspired genocide and wide abominations, set the world upon its side and shook the population. God above may love the earth, but I despise creation. I'd be glad to see it slide into complete annihilation.
No, but this was not our deal.
Nay, our seal was set upon me letting all my pets be free, which I did most cheerfully. But the souls thou seest for thee now are all brand new to me, freshly sown from earthly homes and viability.
Yet still I see the cobbler there. He's weeping in the hole.
Aye, the shoemaker's returned to eye. He's failed to heal his soul.
He touches his foot.
Heal. Soul. Never mind.
Why went they not to heaven if they're slain?
They had fain attained atonement for their guilt.
Didst thou deny them absolution for that guilt?
Aye, it seemed a sound solution at the time.
I could surely handle torture and the pain, but to see these poor unfortunates enslaved, it is more than I can bear.
My dear, thou art in hell. This is the meaning of despair. To where thy sacrifice more fruitful, love, thou wouldst bethink it fair. But to forfeit all thou carest about in vain, why there's the only torment could be worth of thy name.
He pinches her nose.
Never seen evil more profane than that in thee.
Oh, flattery will get thee nowhere,
He starts to exit. Moloch runs in, breathless.
Scorn, my lord! The horns of war are blowing at the door. Methinks the angels of the shores above are hearkened with a roar. 'Tis time to chime the carillon so we can all withdraw.
He starts to
Art dense? Whatever happened to defense? Grab a sword and guard the door like wards with common sense.
But what if they destroy us?
Then my wrath will be immense.
Guard!
Yes, it is intense. Wouldst thou care to place a wager on events?
No.
Well, the odds are in my favor. No offense.
We shall see.
Yes. For far too many centuries of festering in hell, 'tis time for me to pay Jehovah his belated recompense.
He spits on Mary.
How likest now, thou servant queen, my sensitivity? Oh, I see my tender heart no more appeals to thee.
I am not on fire.
Yes, well, we shall see. But now I shall depart, I guess, from blessed company. I'm tired.
Satan exits, lights out. Scene 10, breaching the gates. AZRAEL stands at his podium as before. Gabriel and Uriel enter with swords drawn.
AZRAEL, you knave!
Yes?
Open up the gates!
Reaching for his keys.
Well, I see you've gained permission from thy master.
Yes, and I will break thy pate unless thou movest any faster.
Gabriel abate. We'll breach it soon enough.
Yes, but if we're late, 'twould be a grave disaster.
Eternity is far too long to be in such a hurry.
Gabriel puts his sword to AZRAEL's neck.
My brother's blood is far too rich to tempt me not to worry.
AZRAEL puts 2 fingers on the sword and lowers it.
Do not think me invalid just for my graying beard, for I have fought 1,000 wars and seen 1,000,000,000 years.
He raises his hand and Gabriel starts to choke. Uriel steps towards them. AZRAEL points 2 fingers towards Uriel. Gabriel's sword follows so that it points at Uriel as well.
How long I've stood by Yahweh's side before the days of men, he tasked me with the book of death. Though he alone controls the pen, 'twas I who slayed the dinosaurs and countless specimens when in a rage of aggravation he bade me to erase his first attempt. Those creatures were immeasurable in size and scope galore, but I approached the globe as though a blazing meteor. 'Twas I who moved the earth 100 light years from the sun. 'Twas I who brought the ice age and the cold oblivion. Oh, God is our creator, but he knew the need for death. And thou wert but a mewling pup the day I came to rest before the stinking halls of limbo here, to serve at God's request. Dost think that I enjoy the stench of pain and angry souls? Oh, nay. I but fulfill the will of God, obeying what I'm told.
My noble AZRAEL, although my cousin be impetuous, his heart is full of gold. We came to breach the Gnarled gates and rescue whom it holds. Our quarrel is with those inside, not with thee out here. Like you, our destiny is but for God's alone to make appear.
She kneels.
Please, release thy hold.
AZRAEL nods and releases his hold on Gabriel.
As you request. Now, thy eagerness deserves commending, but thy charm deserves reproach. Why wouldst thou raise an arm to those who would not do thee harm? If God commands these gates to open, I shall lower the alarm.
He does.
Well, good. So may Jehovah's will be done.
AZRAEL exits. Gabriel touches his neck and stares at Uriel.
I pray thee, speak no word of this.
Nay, not to anyone.
They exit. Lights out. Scene 11. The battle rages. Michael on his stomach, barely breathing. ABADDON and MOLOCH enter. ABADDON has Michael's sword. MOLOCH has an axe. Sounds clattering at the gates.
Grrr! This is going to be tough! Let them huff and puff. We'll hold the fort steady whilst we tear them up.
ABADDON swings the sword around barbarically.
And what to do with him?
We'll slice him limb from limb.
ABADDON raises the sword over Michael. A loud noise from the gates.
Lost! They're almost in. You do it.
ABADDON hides behind the gate. MOLOCH raises his axe over Michael's neck when the doors fly open. Uriel and Gabriel rush in.
To pierce the weaver lighted just in time.
Aye, to die.
ABADDON attacks Gabriel with Michael's sword. Uriel runs at MOLOCH, who drops his axe.
Blimey! Please don't hurt me. I wasn't going to hurt him.
Thy ineptitude disarms me, that's for certain. On the ground.
MOLOCH lies down, face first. Uriel grabs his axe.
This sword is not a demon blade. Nay, it was angelic made and used to slay an angel.
Slay? Say, does he speak the truth, my friend, or does he disassemble?
Uriel runs to Michael.
Nay, thy brother is alive, though very badly wounded.
Yea, he cried pathetic whines whenever I imbued him.
Liar!
Arr! I don't think you should bruise them, ABADDON.
Nay, instead, in ire, I'll abuse them.
He slices Gabriel's arm. Gabriel groans and falls.
Dost thou know he cried 1,000 times that I should not misuse him? He
he said his flesh was much too delicate. I was too intrusive.
tries to stab Gabriel. Gabriel rolls away.
But you, unlike your brother, are annoyingly elusive.
Abaddon follows Gabriel, but Uriel attacks him with 2 weapons, his own plus Moloch's. Gabriel crawls to Michael.
Oh, my brother, I am here. The Virgin Mother needs releasing, for I am free. She will be.
Canst thou help me?
Aye, indeed.
Gabriel raises his sword with his other arm. Abaddon knocks Uriel down.
Ha! I cannot be defeated.
Gabriel wounds him. Abaddon cries out.
But thou art awfully conceited.
Abaddon swings at Gabriel. Uriel stabs him in the chest.
I'm sorry I mistreated.
Oh, what's that? Please repeat it.
Gabriel slices his neck. Abaddon collapses.
Nay, on second thought, I would prefer it if his words remained unheeded.
Arr! The war's my only friend.
Oh, then maybe you should join him.
Gabriel stabs Moloch through the back.
Blame me! Why wouldst thou destroy me? I surrendered!
Because he would have stabbed my brother in the back.
Gabriel removes the sword.
Arr!
Moloch dies.
But a wood precipitates not an unsolicited attack. What about forgiveness?
He's a demon, and his soul is smothered black. He would have turned on us, eventually, if we would have shown him slack.
I disagree. 'Tis impropriety stabbing even the darkest demons in the back.
Placing both hands on Moloch.
May God have mercy on thy soul.
We're in a war. Go tell the Lord if thou thinkest I am lacking. I, instead, shall forge ahead to give the hordes of hell a sacking.
Gabriel starts to leave.
And what about thy brother?
Aye, he'll die most rapidly, unless his chains unshackle. Our father's mother is the key to all that must be tackled.
And his wounds?
Indeed, he'll need miraculous attention. Wouldst thou consent to fly him hence until the Lord's dimension? He'll never heal while bleeding here within these penned-up penitentiary.
Aye, with care.
Then I shall see thee there, beyond the walls of purgatory, and the devil's lair. Whatever fate befails me, be it air or in the grave, if I can rescue Virgin Mary, we may all be safe.
Be thou wary.
Be thou brave.
Exit Gabriel. Lights out. Scene 12, A Beacon of Hope. Mary, chained. Gabriel rushes in.
My lady, is it thee?
I, in low captivity, I am prone to watch them tormented for all eternity.
I am here for you.
He hacks away at her chains to no avail.
Nay, conserve thy energy. No sword can break these cursed chains of animosity. I have sealed my fate.
Thy son has come for as well for thee. He's near beyond the gates.
Was there a war?
Aye, the bloodiest of battlefields I have ever seen before. More limbs have fallen from this sword than waves upon the shore. My lady would be pleased.
Nay, I am aggrieved. I came to end the sufferings of all. Instead, the numbers multiplied inside these burning walls, the slaughtering of innocents, the ravages of wars, all horrific side effects to what I came here for. I would gladly take their torments on or save them from their faults, but this devil's contract has misled me and has pledged me false.
Charging off.
Then I will make them change it.
Stay, please. Do not abandon me. How is thy brother? Is he well?
Nay, he has been wounded.
Oh, Michael, I have abandoned thee. I have lost it all to spare humanity.
Mary weeps. Gabriel stares into the pit.
Was it worth it?
What question dost thou ask of me? No torture is too much to save a soul. Although futility be torture all its own.
The cobbler calls out from the pit.
Nay, don't despair. Thy sacrifice has given me a chance to breathe in air. I could fain have tasted honey or but comb me daughter's hair. If ye had not descended unto sin's evil lair, I worship thee most heartily and praise thee in my prayers. You lie! If you had truly praised her, then thy soul would not be there. I didn't praise her, and I took her gift for granted. But when a man is upside down, his vision may be slanted. I regret my weak decisions and the things I had ranted. So I wish me lady happiness and peace, even if my soul remains forever in disease.
He starts to exit.
Wait! Art thou not the shoemaker whose soul was not prepared?
Aye, but that was frailty, and not thy own affairs. 'Tis the weaknesses of human's flesh that makes me unprepared. But through it all, I must confess, it gives me strength to know thou cares.
Well then, I bless thee, worthy cobbler, and thy daughter's hair. For if my torments gave the tiniest of hope, then I would gladly brave 1,000 pains and smile as I cope. Thy words give affirmations to my sacrifice's scope.
Take care.
Cobbler disappears as Satan enters.
Oh my, what's this? We have a guest. Well, I wish someone had told me I would have gotten dressed.
Release the virgin, villain scum!
And he speaks with such distinction. I'm impressed.
I demand she be unhanded instantly.
Oh, don't be such a pest. She is my favorite prisoner. I spit on thy request. Is that an insult or respect?
I don't know.
Well, regardless, thou art welcome here, provided he regress.
From what?
From aiming swords upon thy host and making rude request. I am but a businessman, despite what some suggest, and I can offer thee more riches than thou ever hast.
Oh, Gabriel, be deaf.
In that room's a treasure chest with anything thou wishes.
I want thee dead.
My offer has some glitches. How about instead for power, dost thou crave it?
No, I'm not depraved. 'Tis better thou should say it.
That is a pity. I could have made thee mayor of this conflagrated city, or perhaps a governor, or better yet, a king. The management is changing soon. There'll be some openings.
Nay, not if God has any say.
Oh, God can say whatever he likes. This is his judgment day. Our courtroom stands adjourned for him, and I'm the magistrate. You can be his barrister, and Mary there his aide.
He points into the pit.
And when our jury finds him negligent, this courtroom's getting paid.
Enough of this charade! You'll pay for this, seditionist! I'll penetrate thy spleen!
Gabriel attacks Satan with his sword. They fight. Satan wounds Gabriel, who falls to the ground.
Well, a fine attack. Thou art a worthy enemy. But come, I've been too slack. 'Tis time to murder thee.
He snaps his fingers and does a little dance. Gabriel hacks him. He's not down.
My shot never miss. You averted them with ease.
Aye, and for thy tricks I shall convert thy stubborn knees.
They fight again. Satan pins him to the ground with his pitchfork.
You goose. God himself could not impress me. I gave no whimpered pleas. And when he quelled my poor rebellion once, 'twas only by degrees. And even then I found no ground before him on my knees. He claimed that he would take me back if only I would cease to speak so roundly of his Adam and his Eve.
He snaps his fingers and does a little dance. Gabriel is bound.
Oh, these stupid humans and their curiosities. That's wherefore this place was born, to house those oddities. The souls that question God in his most foul authority. My, but how that number has quickly grown into majority. I warned him that the souls of man bore moral poverty, and would he listen? No! And then he banished me. I loved him as a father once, but 'twas his loathsome vanity which bid me leave him. Why value he this worthless man above all we who would receive him? 'Twas seraphim who worshipped him, yet man who would aggrieve him.
That is how thou truly felt. Then why didst thou deceive him?
I never lied. I only told him honestly that man would supersede him.
And then you went behind his back to feed that girl a seedling.
Yes, it was a test. To prove how fickle were their feelings, to taste the fruit of knowledge despite his high commands. I thought that God would then acknowledge the deficiencies of man. Instead, he gives them solace on that planet made of land, whilst I reside in empty solace in these flames below the sand. Oh, I begged thee for assistance once, and Michael for his hand. so we together unified could help our Father understand that only angels are the worthy ones and not this feeble man.
There is much good in man.
Blah! There's far more weakness.
Am I not man?
In a way of speaking, yes. But even you have now deceived him in this misbegotten quest. I see no sanctity at all in man, just sin within his breast. And here, within these sulfured walls, your selfish soul shall never rest.
He raises his fingers and lightning strikes. Mary cries out as many of the souls disappear. Scene 13, Redemption. God enters, flanked by Uriel and Michael, who is wounded but unbound.
Beelzebub, thou wretch, I have come for thee.
The lightning stops.
Yes, and so I see. Moloch, Abaddon, arise at my behest.
Moloch and Abaddon appear in the pit.
I'm sorry, Lord. They stabbed me through the chest.
They did?
Yes, and I was quite outnumbered 2 to 1.
Moloch and Abaddon disappear in the pit.
Well, what didst thou expect? Thy demons were no match for us, and strength nor intellect. We're warriors of God above, and they have shown us disrespect.
A warrior? You jest. A fairy with a Neville harp is more what I'd suggest.
Devil, for thou carping, I shall perforate thy neck!
Gabriel, be checked. I shall speak with him. Lucifer, in days gone by, you led my seraphim. I praise thee more than all that who thrived in brave Elysium. I entertained thy appetite, indulged thy every whim. I even let thee torment Job with plagues and pestilence. So why dost thou betray me now with brazen insolence?
You banished me from heaven.
Aye, for cursed impudence. You challenged my descent to earth with churlish ignorance. I gave thee charge of all the skies in my misguided confidence. And how didst thou administrate in my respite for my providence? You had me murdered. So much for difference.
You seemed unhappy there.
I was quite content. My mother watching over me. My fellow brethren, I found tremendous pleasures in the fellowship of men. But suffering their legal measures wasn't one of them.
Oh! Didst thou condemn thy favorite angel for the sentiments of men?
No. I blame their strange behavior on deception from thy end.
I? What?
Yes! Didst thou not seduce Iscariot to turn me in for coin? Didst thou not induce the Pharisees to cry for my undoing? Dost thou deny convincing Pilate wash his hands of my arrest? And didst thou not incite Longinus pierce a spear within my breast?
I did. Yes, although it's not like I was challenged. You saw how quickly they complied and how they clamored for the balance. See, you humans are but imbeciles, susceptible to bribes. I merely offered pittances, and nearly all subscribed. My dearest father, you mistook. I never deigned to hurt thee. I simply tried to show thee that thy humans were unworthy.
I knew full well the risks involved before I undertook them, but thy methods were subversive, and I could no longer brook them. 'Tis why I vied for banishment, although it cried for worser punishment. Denied to thee my ecstasy and heaven's holy nourishment, I sentenced thee to centuries in this malignant penitentiary to torment those who live their lives in sin. Until recently, this pleased me. Thy deeds reported to me frequently. But now I see indecency, and seeds of incivility are sown throughout this land.
He looks at Mary.
And how this visage startles me. This woman who did coddle me when I was but a child of man.
He kneels before her.
And how now, mother? Are you well?
I should have brought my fan.
You were once the proudest of us all, omnipotent and powerful, the grand and brave, infallible commander of the world. And now you're full of simpering and sympathetic whimpering, or someone who's a human? And a girl.
She is my mother.
She is but a churl. If humans were the ocean, you would treat her like a pearl. Yet all of my devotion has been crumpled up and hurled. Shed you no tears from me?
Emotion is a bitter thing when jealousy unfurls.
Pah! And why would I be jealous? I own the pit of hell. I even own the harlot who will dwell here forever.
Nay! She is neither harlot nor a denizen of thine. For she begat the universe when she gave birth to heavenkind.
And yet, she signed the dotted line and sold herself to me. So how can she be worth a dime without her piety?
My mother is compassion. She is wealth. She is happiness and joy. Yea, I never understood it all myself until I felt her arms around me as a boy. I think I may have failed thee, child, as though I've never hugged thee quite the way I should.
He holds out his arms.
I swear to love thee better now. If he would better, he would unfetter her and love her as he should.
What? No, it's far too late. You cannot just waltz in here after several thousand years expecting an embrace. I want my revenge.
But I'm offering love.
I'd rather keep thy hate.
Satan thrusts his pitchfork at God, who ducks. Flames erupt behind him. Satan runs and hides behind Mary.
And I have heard enough.
God slams his staff into the ground.
Accursed Mephistopheles! The words are but hypocrisies. Reverse these bold atrocities and hold my mother to no debt.
From behind Mary.
Nay, she is my silhouette. And whilst I overshadow her, she'll always be my pet.
He pats Mary's hand.
Oh, don't look so upset.
He peeks out from behind Mary.
I may defeat him yet.
He thrusts his pitchfork at God. God's staff flies out of his hand.
Ha-ha! And now lightning in the chest!
He thrusts his pitchfork at God again. This time, God flies backwards into a wall and lands on the ground. Uriel stands between God and Satan, sword outstretched.
Lucifer, thou saboteur, you'll burn it for this offense.
Oh, show some common sense.
Satan thrusts his pitchfork at Uriel, who flies backwards.
Uriel! Release me now, thou malcontent! I'll circumvent thy...
Satan snaps his fingers and Gabriel's mouth clamps shut. He does a little dance and Uriel is bound.
So much for thy defense. Now 'tis you and I, my lord, and time for recompense.
Satan picks up God's staff.
How is this even possible, this turning of events?
Well, if you think about it clearly, Lord, it all makes perfect sense. You turned into a weakling when you traveled thence. You suckled at your mother's teat and coveted your strength. And now you're but a meager shadow of the ruler you were went.
Nay, harbor not this prince's lies. Your love is your defense. My lord, do not forget. Compassion is a virtue, and your kindness is your strength.
My kindness towards your mother's soul is coming to its length.
He aims his pitchfork at Mary.
And if compassion be a virtue, then my sin is consequent. Oh, to speak thou now another word would not be recommended. And unless you'd like to see how far thy neck might be extended, I suggest you give a rest to catch the breath that you've expended.
He snaps his fingers and Mary's lips are sealed.
Now, to face the villain that my skill hath apprehended.
God attempts to stand, but has no luck.
Art thou prepared for death? Oh, this is going to be splendid.
He holds God's staff over God. AZRAEL enters, carrying his giant book. Satan and God both turn to look at him.
My lords, forgive me if there's any I've offended, but I've been flipping through the book of death, and it must needs be amended.
Can you come back another time? Perhaps after this is ended.
Nay, there may be no delay, nor may the deadline be extended, for the name of God has not been writ, although it seems to be intended. My lord, is thy desire for thy reign to be upended?
No.
And what of thy existence? Would you like it shortened or extended?
I would choose the second.
Well, then that explains it. I'm afraid the Lord may not be killed unless the Lord himself ordains it.
What? But that's ridiculous. Why would he agree?
My universe's rules are set by him that doth create it.
What? Let me see the list.
Satan takes the book from AZRAEL. God begins to stand.
Missed. Dismissed. Does not exist. How ineffectual is this?
He throws the book into the pit of hell.
Interrupt me yet again, and I'll throw thee in the abyss. Now, I've been waiting centuries for this.
He turns to God, who's standing face to face with him.
What the hell?
The staff. God pulls the staff away from him. Suddenly, the chains on Mary open, as do the bonds on Gabriel and Uriel. Michael woozily regains his consciousness. The pit of flames dies down. God grabs Satan's pitchfork.
The devil has destroyed the book of death. Without those names inscribed inside its sacred holy manifest, no soul on earth nor heaven born may ever be possessed.
Oh! Well, this will hinder my success.
God grabs Satan by the throat. He walks him over to the pit, holding him precariously near the edge.
My lord, my son, pull back from this aggression.
Why?
The souls in the pit reach up, tentatively at first, and then more aggressively, pulling at Satan's feet and legs.
Yeah!
Pull him in!
You must forgive his indiscretions.
Why should I forgive?
An eye for an eye!
A tooth for a tooth!
Because thou art his father, and 'twould be the stronger lesson.
Give him to us, Father. We'll forgive him for you.
No! He can't be trusted. He will die for this transgression.
You must turn the other cheek.
Mother, don't be foolish. If I do, he'll think I'm weak.
No, he'll think thou art merciful and learn from thy technique.
Now is not the time.
My son, thou art the savior and the father of mankind. Would thou teach them how to love, or should thy vengeance be thy shrine? If humans would be virtuous, 'tis thee that should be their guide. And how can ye be worthy if forgiveness ye deny?
But an eye for an eye.
And a tooth for a tooth. Then humankind would all be blind if we'd never chew our food.
She kneels.
My son, thou art Lord on high. Thy will, of course, is mine. If killing him would bring you joy, then do as you design. But in that whole are many souls who pine for thy embrace. And though they may be sinners all, they are of human race. And as your children, one and all deserve good heaven's grace.
He throws Satan to the ground, away from the pit.
No! My lord, I'd rather die than give away my slaves.
You knave! Enough! Should I reward even the basest creature with a space inside my gates?
Aye, for even though he's evil, he would change in thy embrace. Show your love to him.
God stares at Satan for a long moment.
But how should I begin?
Mary whispers in his ear. God nods, and he lifts Satan roughly to his feet.
I love thee, son, with all my heart, and cleanse thy sins within my glory.
They hug for a long moment. At first, Satan is uncomfortable. Then he starts to cry.
What? My lord, I'm not... Please,
He falls to his knees, weeping.
I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm sorry.
Arise, my child, and no longer kneel before me. Instead, I'll fly us up to heaven, and I'll beg of thee to join me.
I will.
And all of you who have I denied, please shine your grace upon me, and in return, I shall provide you all with kind eternity. Please forgive my former ignorance, and accept my open hand.
He helps them out of the pit, one by one. Mary, Satan, and the angels help as well. As he releases them, he hugs them. So do the others.
In exchange, I'll welcome all into the promised land.
My lady, is it far?
What?
This journey into heaven?
No, it isn't long. We'll be there by morning.
Uriel, the song.
She pulls her harp from thin air.
Yes, Lord, and thy glory. When all the others worry, my heart stands divine. Though their gaze be often blurry, I see heaven shine. For God's love is strong and sturdy, and I feel sublime. In the days before aurora of the rising sun, God bestowed his glorious aura unto everyone. All the souls were born in heaven and Elysium, and when God said, "Let there be light," it was paradise. And on the earth created life, mountains, trees, and birds, and soon mankind would be united with the universe. Some say love and some say violence makes the world go round, but God can take that lonely silence and make a joyful sound. In the glow of heaven's kindness, may you all be found. Now go with God towards new horizons, spread his love around. Feel the warmth of dawn arising from the sallow ground. And if this show be so delighting, please make a joyful sound.
End of play.
Before we take